15 games that I think were ahead of their time, whether in terms of graphics, gameplay, or storyline. So let's look at the first game on our list. Ryse Son of Rome. This game set a new standard for visual fidelity and cinematic storytelling when it was released. Ryse Son of Rome puts you in the sandals of Marius Titus, a Roman soldier seeking revenge for the murder of his family. The game's narrative is gripping, filled with dramatic moments and epic battles. The story unfolds like a blockbuster movie, complete with stunning cutscenes and emotional depth. What truly set Ryse apart at its time was its groundbreaking graphics. The level of detail in the character models, environments, and animations was astonishing. The game's depiction of ancient Rome and its battles were incredibly lifelike, showcasing the power of the Xbox One upon its release. And the facial animations and motion capture performances brought the characters to life in a way that was unprecedented. The combat system in Ryse is both brutal and satisfying. It focuses on timing and precision, allowing you to execute a series of fluid and cinematic moves. The execution sequences in particular were a highlight, with Marius dispatching enemies in visually stunning ways. While some criticized the combat for being repetitive, it was undeniably engaging and visually impressive. Ryse also integrated smart use of the Kinect for voice commands, which, while not essential, added a layer of immersion. You could command your troops or call for volleys of arrows using your voice, enhancing the feeling of being a Roman general. Ryse Son of Rome was undeniably ahead of its time in terms of graphics and cinematic presentation. It pushed the boundaries of what was possible in video game storytelling and visual design. If you haven't experienced it yet, it's worth playing to see how far ahead it was in its ambition and execution. Crysis. Next on our list is Crysis. When it was released in 2007, Crysis set a new benchmark for graphical fidelity and game design. Crysis is set in a near future where you play as Nomad, a soldier equipped with a powerful nanosuit that grants superhuman abilities. The game starts with a rescue mission on a fictional island, which soon turns into a fight against alien invaders. The most revolutionary aspect of Crysis was its graphics. Developed by Crytek, the game used the CryEngine 2, which delivered photorealistic environments, dynamic lighting, and incredible physics. The level of detail in the lush, open-world island setting was unprecedented at the time. Trees reacted realistically to explosions, water looked and behaved like real water, and the game's draw distance allowed for breathtaking vistas. The nanosuit introduced gameplay mechanics that were ahead of their time. It allowed players to switch between different mode strength for enhanced melee attacks, speed for quick movement, armor for increased defense, and cloak for invisibility. This versatility gave players multiple ways to approach objectives and combat situations, encouraging creativity and tactical thinking. Crysis also featured a highly interactive environment. Players could destroy buildings, use the environment to their advantage, and engage in large-scale battles that felt dynamic and unscripted. The game's AI was also notable for its time, providing a challenging and realistic enemy behavior. The open-ended nature of the game design allowed for multiple approaches to missions. Whether you preferred stealth, direct combat, or using the environment to your advantage, Crysis provided the tools and freedom to play your way. Well, anyways, let me know your PC specs in the comments, and can it run Crysis? The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Released in 2015, this game redefined the RPG genre with its vast open world, intricate storytelling, and deep character development. In The Witcher 3, you play as Geralt of Rivia, a monster hunter on a quest to find his adopted daughter Ciri, who is fleeing from the mysterious and otherworldly Wild Hunt. The game's narrative is one of its strongest points, filled with rich lore, memorable characters, and morally complex choices that significantly impact the story and world around you. The open world of The Witcher 3 is breathtakingly detailed and immersive. From the bustling streets of Novigrad and the war-torn fields of Velen to the picturesque landscapes of Skellige, each region is beautifully crafted and feels alive. The game features a dynamic weather system and a day-night cycle that enhance the realism and immersion. One of the most remarkable aspects of The Witcher 3 is its quest design. The side quests are as compelling as the main story, often featuring complex narratives and character arcs that could stand alone as separate stories. These quests are not just filler content, but integral parts of the game world that add depth and richness to the overall experience.
Vampire.
As for the combat, so it can feel a bit clunky at first and might take some time getting used to. As for the gameplay, so Geralt can use a variety of weapons, magic signs, and alchemical potions to defeat a wide array of enemies. The combat system requires strategy and skill, especially on higher difficulties, making each encounter engaging and rewarding. The game also introduced a unique card game called Gwent, which became so popular that it was later developed into a standalone game. Gwent adds an extra layer of depth and fun, offering a strategic minigame that players can enjoy alongside the main adventure. Visually, The Witcher 3 set a new standard for RPGs. The detailed character models, lush environments, and stunning visual effects create an immersive and visually striking world. The game's soundtrack is equally impressive, with a hauntingly beautiful score that complements the epic narrative. If you're a fan of RPGs and have not yet experienced The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, it's a game you shouldn't overlook. Its combination of storytelling, world building, and gameplay mechanics set a new benchmark for the genre and continue to influence games today. Resident Evil 4. Next on our list is Resident Evil 4. Originally released in 2005, this game revolutionized the survival horror genre and set new standards for third-person shooters. In Resident Evil 4, you play as Leon Kennedy, a government agent tasked with rescuing the president's daughter, Ashley Graham, from a mysterious cult in rural Spain. The game's narrative is filled with intense action, unexpected twists, and memorable characters, making it a standout entry in the Resident Evil series. One of the most groundbreaking aspects of Resident Evil 4 was its over-the-shoulder camera perspective. This new camera angle provided a more immersive and dynamic gameplay experience, allowing players to aim and shoot with greater precision. This innovation influenced countless third-person shooters that followed, establishing a new standard for the genre. The game's combat mechanics were also revolutionary. Resident Evil 4 introduced context-sensitive controls and quick-time events, adding layers of interactivity and tension to the gameplay. The variety of enemies, each requiring different strategies to defeat, kept the combat fresh and engaging. The introduction of the Las Plagas parasites added a new dimension to the horror, making enemies more unpredictable and dangerous. Resident Evil 4's level design was another standout feature. The game seamlessly blended linear and open-ended areas, creating a sense of exploration and discovery. The environments were richly detailed, from eerie villages and ancient castles to underground laboratories, each with its own atmosphere and challenges. The game's pacing was masterful, balancing intense action sequences with moments of suspense and puzzle solving. This kept players constantly on their toes, never knowing what to expect next. The boss battles were particularly memorable, each requiring unique tactics and offering thrilling encounters. Visually, Resident Evil 4 was ahead of its time. The character models, environments, and special effects were highly detailed and immersive, pushing the hardware capabilities of the consoles it was released on. The sound design also contributed to the game's atmosphere, with eerie ambient noises and a haunting musical score enhancing the sense of dread and tension. If you're a fan of survival horror and haven't played Resident Evil 4, it's a game you shouldn't overlook. Its innovative gameplay mechanics, immersive design, and intense action set a new benchmark for the genre and continue to influence games today. Dive into this classic and experience a game that was truly ahead of its time. Max Payne. Released in 2001, this game is renowned for its groundbreaking narrative style and innovative gameplay mechanics. In Max Payne, you play as the titular character, a former NYPD detective turned vigilante after his family is brutally murdered by drug addicts. The game's story is a dark and gripping tale of revenge, conspiracy, and betrayal, told through a series of noir-style graphic novel panels and voiceovers that draw you into Max's troubled world. One of the most revolutionary features of Max Payne was its introduction of bullet time, a mechanic that allows players to slow down time during combat. This mechanic, inspired by the slow-motion action sequences in movies like The Matrix, gave players the ability to dodge bullets and take out enemies with stylish precision. Bullet time added a strategic layer to the gunplay and became a defining feature of the game, influencing many action games that followed. The game's combat system was fluid and dynamic. Max could perform acrobatic moves such as diving sideways while shooting, adding a cinematic quality to the action sequences. The combination of bullet time and Max's agility made every gunfight feel intense and satisfying. Max Payne's narrative delivery was also ahead of its time. The use of graphic novel-style cutscenes, complete with voiceovers and atmospheric music, created a distinctive and immersive storytelling experience. The game's dark and gritty tone, combined with Max's internal monologues, gave it a unique noir feel that set it apart from other action games of the era. Visually, Max Payne pushed the limits of what was possible at the time. The detailed environments, realistic character models, and impressive special effects, especially the bullet time sequences, were highly advanced for its release year. The game's attention to detail in recreating the urban landscapes of New York City added to the overall immersion. The sound design in Max Payne was also exceptional. The game featured a moody and atmospheric soundtrack that complemented the dark narrative. The voice acting, particularly James McCaffrey's performance as Max Payne, was top-notch and added depth to the character. If you're a fan of action games with a strong narrative focus, Max Payne is a game you shouldn't overlook. Its innovative gameplay mechanics, compelling story, and cinematic presentation set new standards for the genre and continue to influence games today. Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. In Uncharted 4, you step into the boots of Nathan Drake, a retired treasure hunter who was pulled back into the world of adventure by his long-lost brother Sam. The story is a gripping and emotional tale of brotherhood, redemption, and the search for a legendary pirate treasure. One of the standout features of Uncharted 4 is its stunning visuals. The game's graphics were revolutionary at the time of release, with incredibly detailed character models, lifelike animations, and breathtaking environments. From lush jungles and ancient ruins to bustling cities and treacherous mountains, every location is beautifully rendered and immersive. The attention to detail and the dynamic lighting effects make the world feel alive and believable. The gameplay in Uncharted 4 is a perfect blend of exploration, puzzle solving, and intense combat. The climbing mechanics are smooth and intuitive, allowing Nathan to scale cliffs, swing from ropes, and navigate through complex environments with ease. The puzzles are cleverly designed, challenging you to think creatively and use your surroundings to progress. Combat is dynamic and fluid, with a mix of stealth and action elements. You can approach encounters in various ways, whether by sneaking past enemies or engaging in all-out gunfights. The improved AI makes battles more challenging and realistic, requiring strategic thinking and quick reflexes. Uncharted 4 also features some of the most cinematic set pieces in gaming history. The high-speed car chases, explosive firefights, and daring escapes are all choreographed to perfection, creating unforgettable moments of adrenaline-pumping action. These sequences are seamlessly integrated into the gameplay, making you feel like you're part of an epic adventure movie. If you're a fan of action-adventure games, Uncharted 4: A Thief's End is a must-play. Its combination of groundbreaking visuals, engaging gameplay, and compelling storytelling set a new standard for the genre. Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Oh no, they're already here.
Let's talk about Rise of the Tomb Raider. Released in 2015, this game really raised the bar for action-adventure games with its amazing storytelling, jaw-dropping visuals, and smooth gameplay. In Rise of the Tomb Raider, you follow Lara Croft on a quest to find the lost city of Crysis and uncover the secret of immortality. The story is gripping and personal, diving deep into Lara's journey as an explorer and her battle against the sinister organization Trinity. I was hooked from the start, especially with all the historical and mythical elements woven into the plot. One thing that blew me away was the game's visuals. The environments are stunningly detailed, from the icy Siberian landscapes to lush forests and ancient tombs. The dynamic weather and realistic lighting made every scene come alive. I often found myself just standing around, taking in the breathtaking views, Lara herself is beautifully animated with expressive features that make the story even more engaging. The gameplay is a perfect mix of exploration, combat, and puzzle solving. The tombs and crypts are some of my favorite parts. They're filled with challenging puzzles that make you think and use the environment to your advantage. Solving these puzzles felt incredibly satisfying, like being a real adventurer uncovering hidden secrets. Combat is smooth and fun. You can go stealthy with a bow and silent takedowns, or go all out with guns blazing. I love the flexibility in approaching different situations. The crafting system adds a cool layer of strategy too. You can make your own ammo, traps, and other gadgets from materials you find. It's a bit like survival mode, and it kept me constantly on my toes. Exploration in this game is deeply rewarding. There are so many hidden collectibles, side missions, and pieces of lore to find. I spent hours just roaming around, discovering new things and learning more about the world. The semi-open world design is perfect. It encourages you to go back and explore previously visited areas with new tools and abilities to find every secret. The skill tree system is another great feature. You can customize Lara's abilities to fit your playstyle. Whether you're into stealth, combat, or exploration, there's a way to tailor Lara's skills to match. This made me want to replay the game and try out different builds. If you love action-adventure games with a strong focus on exploration and puzzles, Rise of the Tomb Raider is a must-play. The visuals are stunning, the story is captivating, and the gameplay is top-notch. Batman Arkham Knight. Next up on our list of 15 single-player games very ahead of their time is Batman Arkham Knight. This game, released in 2015, brought a new level of polish and depth to superhero games, and it's one that left a lasting impression on me. In Batman Arkham Knight, you take on the role of the Dark Knight as he faces a new threat to Gotham City from the Scarecrow and the mysterious Arkham Knight. The story is intense and filled with twists and turns that keep you hooked from start to finish. As a huge Batman fan, seeing all the iconic villains and allies brought to life was a real treat. The graphics in Arkham Knight are phenomenal. Gotham City looks dark, gritty, and alive with incredible detail. The rain-soaked streets, the neon lights, and the shadows all add to the atmospheric feel of the game. I often found myself gliding from building to building, just taking in the breathtaking views of the city from above. Gameplay-wise, Arkham Knight is top-notch. The combat system, known as Free Flow, is fluid and responsive, allowing you to take on multiple enemies with a mix of punches, kicks, and gadgets. It's easy to pick up, but has enough depth to keep you mastering new moves and combos throughout the game. The stealth sections, where you use Batman's gadgets to take down foes quietly, are equally satisfying. One of the game's standout features is the Batmobile. For the first time in the series, you can drive Batman's iconic vehicle around Gotham. It's not just for transportation either. The Batmobile is equipped with weapons and can transform into a tank mode for intense combat situations. I had a blast chasing down criminals, solving puzzles, and battling drones in this versatile vehicle. The game's narrative is engaging and well written. The interactions between Batman and his allies, as well as his enemies, are filled with tension and emotion. The voice acting, particularly from Kevin Conroy as Batman and Mark Hamill as the Joker, is superb and adds a lot to the overall experience. Arkham Knight also excels in its side missions. There are plenty of things to do in Gotham, from stopping street crimes and rescuing hostages to solving the Riddler's challenging puzzles. These side missions are varied and fun, adding hours of gameplay and helping to flesh out the world. The attention to detail is another aspect where the game shines. From the detailed character models to the rich lore scattered throughout the city, everything is meticulously crafted to create an immersive Batman experience. The inclusion of iconic locations and references to Batman's extensive history made exploring the game a joy. If you're a fan of superhero games or just love a well-crafted action-adventure, Batman Arkham Knight is a game you shouldn't overlook. Its combination of stunning visuals, engaging story, and polished gameplay make it a standout title that was truly ahead of its time. Step into the cape and cowl of the Dark Knight and take on Gotham's greatest threats in this epic conclusion to the Arkham series. The Order 1886. Released in 2015, this game was a showcase of technical prowess and cinematic storytelling that pushed the boundaries of what was possible on the PlayStation 4. In The Order 1886, you play as Sir Galahad, a member of an elite order of knights tasked with protecting humanity from supernatural threats in an alternate history Victorian London. The game's story is steeped in rich lore, blending historical elements with fantastical creatures and advanced technology, creating a unique and immersive world. The visuals in The Order 1886 were groundbreaking at the time. The game features stunningly detailed character models, lifelike animations, and photorealistic environments. The attention to detail is astounding, from the intricate textures on clothing and weapons to the atmospheric lighting that brings the foggy streets of London to life. The seamless transition between cutscenes and gameplay creates a truly cinematic experience. One of the game's standout features is its cinematic presentation. The Order 1886 plays like an interactive movie with a strong emphasis on storytelling and character development. The cutscenes are beautifully crafted and well acted, drawing you into the narrative and making you feel like you're part of an epic film. The voice acting and motion capture performances are top notch, adding depth and emotion to the characters.
Here, give me a hand with this one.
The gameplay is a mix of third-person shooting, melee combat, and quick-time events. The shooting mechanics are solid, with a variety of unique weapons that fit the game's steampunk aesthetic. From powerful rifles to lightning-based guns, each weapon feels satisfying to use. The cover-based shooting system is smooth and intuitive, allowing for tactical and engaging combat. While the game received criticism for its relatively short length and linear structure, it excels in creating a focused and polished experience. The linear design allows for tight pacing and a consistently high level of visual and narrative quality. The immersive world and compelling story make every moment memorable.
The gate is open, we have a way through.
Exploration and environmental storytelling are also key aspects of the game. The richly detailed environments are filled with lore and hidden details that add depth to the world. Taking the time to explore and find collectible items helps to flesh out the story and background of the Order and its enemies. If you appreciate games that push the boundaries of visual fidelity and cinematic storytelling, The Order 1886 is a game you shouldn't overlook. Its combination of stunning graphics, engaging narrative, and immersive world building set a new standard for what video games could achieve. Dying Light. Released in 2015, this game combined parkour, survival, and horror elements to create a unique and thrilling experience that set it apart from other zombie games. In Dying Light, you play as Kyle Crane, an undercover operative sent into the quarantined city of Heron to retrieve a sensitive file. The city is overrun by zombies, and your mission quickly turns into a fight for survival. The story is engaging, with plenty of twists and turns that keep you invested in Crane's journey. What truly set Dying Light apart was its parkour system. The game allowed you to traverse the city with fluid, realistic movement. You could climb buildings, jump across rooftops, and navigate the environment with agility. This added a new layer of strategy to the gameplay, as you could use your parkour skills to escape from hordes of zombies or find better vantage points for combat. The combat system was another highlight. Dying Light featured a wide variety of melee weapons that you could use to take down zombies and human enemies. The combat was visceral and satisfying, with a focus on close quarters combat. You could also craft and upgrade weapons, adding elements like electricity or fire to make them more effective. The day-night cycle in Dying Light added an extra layer of tension to the game. During the day, zombies were relatively slow and manageable, but at night, more dangerous and aggressive zombies, known as volatiles, roamed the streets. Nighttime was terrifying and required you to be extra cautious and strategic. The difference in gameplay between day and night kept the experience fresh and exciting. Exploration was deeply rewarding in Dying Light. The city of Heron was filled with hidden loot, side quests, and safe zones to discover. Scavenging for supplies and finding new weapons and blueprints was essential for survival. The detailed and atmospheric world design made exploration a joy, even when you were constantly on edge. If you're a fan of survival horror games with innovative mechanics and a strong emphasis on movement and exploration, Dying Light is a game you shouldn't overlook. Its combination of parkour, visceral combat, and a dynamic day-night cycle made it a standout title that was truly ahead of its time. Shenmue 1 and 2. Next up on our list are Shenmue 1 and 2. Released in 1999 and 2001 respectively, these games were pioneers in the open world genre, offering a level of detail and immersion that was unprecedented at the time. In Shenmue 1, you play as Ryo Hazuki, a young martial artist on a quest to avenge his father's murder. The story begins in the fictional town of Yokosuka, Japan, where Ryo's journey starts. The narrative is deeply engaging with a mix of mystery, martial arts, and cultural exploration. The sequel, Shenmue 2, continues Ryo's quest, taking him to Hong Kong and beyond, expanding the story and the world. One of the most groundbreaking aspects of Shenmue was its open world design. The game featured highly detailed environments that felt alive. NPCs had their own daily routines, and you could interact with almost everything in the world, from vending machines and arcade games to shops and random objects. This level of interaction created an immersive experience that made the world feel real. Shenmue also introduced a real-time day-night cycle and dynamic weather systems. Time progressed realistically and the weather changed unpredictably, adding another layer of immersion. These features were ahead of their time and have since become staples in many open-world games. The gameplay in Shenmue combined exploration, combat, and mini-games. The combat system was inspired by Virtua Fighter, allowing for fluid and complex martial arts battles. The game also featured quick-time events, QTs, where you had to press buttons at the right time during action sequences. This kept the gameplay varied and engaging. One of the unique aspects of Shenmue was its focus on daily life and routine. You could take on part-time jobs, practice your martial arts, and interact with a wide range of characters. This focus on the mundane aspects of life made the world feel more grounded and real, enhancing the overall narrative experience. The visuals in Shenmue were stunning for their time. The detailed character models, realistic environments, and smooth animations were a major leap forward in game graphics. Shenmue 2 expanded on everything that made the first game great. It introduced larger and more diverse environments, a deeper combat system, and even more intricate storytelling. The sequel took Ryo's journey to new heights, offering players an even richer and more immersive experience. If you're a fan of open-world games and appreciate a rich, detailed narrative, Shenmue 1 and 2 are games you shouldn't overlook. Their pioneering mechanics, immersive worlds, and deep storytelling set new standards for the genre and continue to influence games today. Rage. In Rage, you find yourself in a post-apocalyptic world after an asteroid collision decimates most of Earth's population. You play as a survivor emerging from an underground cryogenic facility into a world that has drastically changed. The story revolves around your efforts to navigate this new world, confront hostile factions, and uncover the secrets of the Authority, the game's main antagonists. One of the most impressive aspects of Rage was its graphics. The game was powered by ID Tech 5, which allowed for incredibly detailed environments and smooth textures. The wasteland setting was visually stunning, with vast landscapes, detailed character models, and dynamic lighting that added to the immersive atmosphere. At the time of its release, Rage set new standards for what was possible in game graphics. The gameplay in Rage was a blend of tight first-person shooting mechanics and vehicular combat. The shooting felt satisfying and responsive, with a variety of weapons that could be customized and upgraded. The AI was challenging, making combat encounters intense and engaging. The addition of vehicles added a new dimension to the gameplay. You could drive and upgrade buggies, participate in races, and engage in vehicular combat, which was a refreshing change of pace from traditional FPS gameplay. Rage's open-world design encouraged exploration. The game featured a mix of linear missions and open-world areas where you could take on side quests, discover hidden locations, and interact with NPCs. Our structure allowed for a good balance between a directed narrative experience and the freedom to explore at your own pace. The game also introduced an impressive physics system. The way enemies reacted to gunfire, the destructible environments, and the vehicle dynamics all contributed to a sense of realism and immersion that was ahead of its time. If you're a fan of first-person shooters with a twist of open-world exploration and vehicular combat, Rage is a game you shouldn't overlook. Its groundbreaking graphics, dynamic gameplay, and immersive world made it a standout title that was truly ahead of its time. Bioshock. Released in 2007 by Irrational Games, Bioshock was a revolutionary title that redefined the first-person shooter genre with its immersive storytelling, unique setting, and innovative gameplay mechanics. In Bioshock, you play as Jack, a survivor of a plane crash who finds himself in the underwater city of Rapture. Built by the enigmatic Andrew Ryan, Rapture was intended to be a utopia free from government control, but it has since descended into chaos. As you explore the city, you uncover the dark secrets behind its downfall and must navigate through its dangerous inhabitants known as splicers. One of the most groundbreaking aspects of Bioshock was its setting. Rapture is a beautifully designed, Art Deco-inspired city that feels both eerie and captivating. The attention to detail in the environment, from the dilapidated buildings to the ambient sound design, creates an atmosphere that is both immersive and haunting. The visual and audio design work together to make Rapture a character in its own right, full of mystery and danger. Bioshock's storytelling was ahead of its time, utilizing environmental storytelling and audio logs to reveal the history and lore of Rapture. The game's narrative is deeply philosophical, exploring themes of free will, objectivism, and the nature of humanity. The famous twist involving the phrase, "Would you kindly," remains one of the most memorable moments in gaming history, showcasing the power of interactive storytelling. The gameplay in Bioshock is a unique blend of first-person shooting and role-playing elements. You can customize your playstyle using plasmids, which grant you various powers such as telekinesis, pyrokinesis, and the ability to control machines. This system allows for creative combat and puzzle solving, as you can use the environment and your abilities to outsmart enemies. Bioshock also introduced the concept of moral choices with the Little Sisters. You can choose to either rescue or harvest them for Adam, a valuable resource needed to upgrade your abilities. These decisions affect the game's ending, adding a layer of ethical complexity to your actions. The AI and combat mechanics were innovative for their time. Enemies react dynamically to your actions, and the game encourages you to experiment with different strategies and combinations of weapons and plasmids. The combination of shooting, exploration, and puzzle solving keeps the gameplay engaging and varied. If you're a fan of first-person shooters with deep narratives and rich, immersive worlds, Bioshock is a game you shouldn't overlook. Its combination of innovative gameplay, compelling story, and unforgettable setting makes it a true masterpiece that was well ahead of its time. Red Dead Redemption. Released in 2010 by Rockstar Games, this game redefined the open-world genre with its stunning depiction of the American frontier and its deep, immersive storytelling. In Red Dead Redemption, you play as John Marston, a former outlaw forced by government agents to hunt down the members of his old gang. The game is set in the dying days of the American Old West, and its story is filled with themes of redemption, loyalty, and the relentless march of progress. Marston's journey is both emotional and gripping, making it one of the most compelling narratives in gaming history. One of the standout features of Red Dead Redemption is its incredible open world. The game's rendition of the American frontier is vast, diverse, and breathtakingly beautiful. From the arid deserts and lush forests to the bustling towns and abandoned outposts, every part of the world is meticulously crafted. The dynamic weather system and day-night cycle further enhance the realism and immersion, making the world feel alive. Gameplay in Red Dead Redemption is a perfect blend of action, exploration, and role-playing elements. The combat is fluid and satisfying with a variety of weapons and tactics at your disposal. The game also introduces the Dead-Eye targeting system, allowing you to slow down time and take precise shots, adding a layer of strategy to gunfights. Exploration is deeply rewarding with countless side missions, random encounters, and hidden treasures to discover. The game's world is rich with detail and filled with activities from hunting and fishing to gambling and bounty hunting. These activities not only provide entertainment but also help you earn money and improve your skills. The story missions are well crafted and varied, featuring memorable characters and dramatic set pieces. Each mission feels meaningful and contributes to the overarching narrative, keeping you engaged throughout Marston's journey. Red Dead Redemption also excels in its environmental storytelling. The game's world is filled with subtle details and contextual clues, that tell the story of the American West and its inhabitants. This attention to detail creates a sense of place and history that few games can match. If you're a fan of open-world games with rich narratives and immersive worlds, Red Dead Redemption is a game you shouldn't overlook. Its combination of engaging gameplay, compelling story, and breathtaking visuals set a new standard for the genre and continue to influence games today. Red Faction. This game was revolutionary for its groundbreaking use of destructible environments and introduced new gameplay mechanics that influenced many future titles. In Red Faction, you play as Parker, a miner on Mars who becomes embroiled in a rebellion against the oppressive Ultra Corporation. The game's story, inspired by classic science fiction themes, involves uncovering corporate conspiracies, battling security forces, and liberating the oppressed workers of Mars. The narrative is engaging and well-paced, providing a strong backdrop for the action-packed gameplay. One of the most innovative features of Red Faction was its geomod technology, which allowed for real-time destruction of environments. This was a game-changer as it enabled players to alter the game world in ways that had never been possible before. You could blow holes in walls, collapse structures, and create new paths using explosives. This level of environmental interactivity added a new layer of strategy and immersion, making every encounter unique. The gameplay in Red Faction is a mix of first-person shooting, exploration, and puzzle solving. The shooting mechanics are solid with a variety of weapons that feel powerful and satisfying to use. The ability to destroy parts of the environment added tactical depth to combat, allowing for creative solutions to problems and dynamic engagements with enemies. Exploration is another key aspect of the game. The environments on Mars are diverse, ranging from industrial mining facilities and underground tunnels to high-tech laboratories and open Martian landscapes. The game's level design encourages exploration and experimentation, rewarding players who think outside the box. Visually, Red Faction was impressive for its time. The game's environments were detailed and immersive, with a distinct Martian aesthetic that set it apart from other shooters. The destructible environments and physics-based interactions were visually striking, enhancing the overall experience. If you're a fan of first-person shooters that offer something different from the norm, Red Faction is a game you shouldn't overlook. Its pioneering use of destructible environments and solid gameplay mechanics made it a standout title that was truly ahead of its time. Well everyone, that was all for this video. Have a good day. I will see you later.